All right, there we go. Cool. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Starving Artist Courses live music session here. We are so excited. This here is officially our 100th video. So we are really excited over here at SAC that we've been able to experience and connect with you guys through music over the past year now. So it's been amazing. So we officially launched back in January of 2020. And now up to this point, we've had 100 videos, just so many opportunities to just share and teach and engage with you all through music. So it's a really exciting time for us. So I just want to just jump straight off the bat. You've been seeing the post on Instagram, the live on Facebook this week and all of that, talking about us celebrating this 100th video, right? So the way we want to celebrate first is we want to offer a giveaway. Like last year, we were doing a lot of giveaways. And this year, we also want to do the same thing, okay? So this is going to be one of our big giveaways. And what we're doing to celebrate 100 videos, we're giving away a $100 gift card to anyone who wins our contest. So it's going to be awesome, okay? So officially from this moment, the contest starts today. And the winner will be announced next week, Saturday, okay? So that's going to be great. Yeah. Oh, hey there. How's it going? Cool. Thank you so much. Thank you for celebrating with us today. But yeah, so pretty much the contest. So I want to make sure I read this to make sure that we get it right. Okay. So there's 5 things. I think 5 things to do. It's not too much to win $100. Okay. So you got to do these 5 things. And some of you guys have already probably done most of them. So that's great. But these are the 5 things you have to do before next week, Saturday, in order to be in the contest. Okay. So the first thing, you want to go to starvingartistcourses.com and join our mailing list. That is the first thing. And what's cool about that is as soon as you join our mailing list, you actually get a free gift at that time. So at that time, we're also going to send you our free PDF called Finding Your Rhythm, Making Time for Your Dreams. And again, that's a practical free PDF guide that we give that just gives you practical steps on how you can navigate and use your time best to squeeze in there some time to dedicate toward whatever your dreams may be, your goals. So you're not too consumed with everything that's going on. You can practically, take time aside towards your dreams to start, your dream business, to start learning how to do an instrument, to play some sports, to exercise, whatever it is, we can do this. So this PDF helps you with that. So again, starvingartistcourses.com, join our mailing list. That's the first thing. Secondly, want you to subscribe. You're already on our YouTube channel right now watching this video. So just hit that wonderful subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post. You want to hit the subscribe and then hit the bell too. So then you're always notified whenever we drop a new lesson or a new video, okay? Next, you want to go on Instagram and follow Starving Artist Courses, okay? So go ahead and put the @ symbol, Starving Artist Courses all together. It'll pop right up. You'll see it. And go ahead and follow us on Instagram, okay? Next, the 4th thing, you want to like our page on Facebook, okay? So that's the 4th thing there. Just go to Facebook, Starving Artist Courses, and like our page. And lastly, again, we have 100 videos up to this point. Go ahead and skim through, see what we've been teaching, what you might want to learn, and share. Grab one of those videos and copy the URL or click share and share it to one of your social media pages. It can be Instagram or it can be Facebook. You want to share it, and then so that we know that you actually shared it, make sure to tag Starving Artist Courses on that page. So it's kind of say like, man, I love this video, or I love music. I'm learning this instrument. Why don't you dive in with me on Starving Artist Courses? However you want to say it, but make sure you tag us. If you don't know how to tag, you hit the little @ symbol and then type it. It'll pop up and you click it and then the color will change. It'll highlight on the post and that'll be a tag. And then we'll be notified, oh, this person shared our video. And we'll make sure you did the other 4 things too. So again, those are the 5 things. So join our mailing list, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Instagram, like our Facebook, and then share one of our videos. That would be really, really helpful. We really appreciate that. Okay, cool. So that's that. And next week, Saturday, I believe, is February 27th, 2021. That day when we go live again, that's at the end of that, we'll announce who the winner is. So this week is going to be awesome. We're really excited about that. So let's dive into what we're doing today. So moving forward, the next few weeks, we want to just teach a little bit on different instruments. We want you guys to get started, get the ball rolling. Because a lot of people, again, I have a lot of conversations. People text me all the time or inbox me saying, man, I want to learn this instrument. And then, it may go by the wayside and I'll kind of follow up like, hey, you still want to learn? What's going on? All of this. But right now this is literally free. It's live, so you can go ahead and just jump in and start learning. So if you don't have an instrument, you can just take the notes. You can rewatch this later and bring it. But if you do, let's go ahead and dive in. So today we're going to focus on the guitar. Okay. Now there are different types of guitars. Right here next to me, I have a classical guitar. Behind that, we have an acoustic guitar, has steel strings on there. In the back up here, that's an electric guitar. This is an electric guitar too. That's an electric bass guitar. Over there on the futon, we got a ukulele. So there's so many different types of guitars, okay? Some come with 4 strings, some are 5, some are 6 strings. There's so many different types of strings and all of that, right? So pretty much that's the start of the guitar. There's just different types, but today we're just gonna focus on the classical, okay? This is really nice. It has a really nice warm tone to it. I love playing this guitar. I'm gonna slide back so you guys can see it. There we go. Cool. But yeah, so I really love, playing around on this guitar here. It just has a different tone, and depending on the feel and sound that you want, you switch between the different guitars that you play. Okay. But let me just break this down. I'm just going to assume that none of you have ever picked up an instrument, never played it before, performed with it. So I'm just going to break it down from scratch. And by the end of class, teach you a couple chords and see if you can pick up on it. Okay. So that's what we got. We have the guitar. And you want to think of this just like the human body. Like if this was the human body standing up here, you have the head. So then from the head, you got the neck, and then you got the body of the guitar. Okay, so that's how that works there. So up here, let's start on the head here. So up here on the head, you always see these things here. These are called tuners or tuning pegs. And these tune all of the strings. So these are your 6 strings on the guitar. And what are they tuning it to? So there's different sounds. Each string has a different sound. So you listen to this, right? That one sounds different from, right? They all have different sounds. But there's a specific note or a specific sound that you want each string to sound like. And then it's in tune, okay? And for us to know this, we talked about this last week a little bit. But if you missed last week's live, go ahead and check that video out too. But I'll just go ahead and recap. But pretty much in music, no matter which instrument you're playing, we follow the alphabet, and we follow the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A to G. That's all you got to remember. So none of the notes are H, none of them are J, none are I. It just goes from A to G. That's it, okay? Now, each one of these string names is one of those different notes. So even though this string down here is the farthest away, like this is the lowest one away, it's coming up towards you, we still call this one the first string. Okay, so this is the first string. This one up here is the 6th string. So if we start on the first string, this one is E. And then we have B is our 2nd string, G, D, A, and then this one is E as well. Now, it's based off of the sound that it gives. So this one is E, but it's thinner. The strings down here are thinner, and they get a little thicker as you get up here. So listen to the sound. So that's E. But this is E as well. Now, I don't know if you noticed, they sound the same, just one is low and one is high. So try to listen to that one more time. Right? You got the lower one. But they're the same note. Same exact sound. One is just high, low. Same thing, okay? So that's why it's the same letter, E and E, right? So that's what E sounds like. Then you got B, G, D, A, and then E again. Okay? So those are your 6 strings. So far we went from the head to the tuning pegs, and then you get your strings. Now the strings stay in place here by this little white thing right here. We call that a nut. And it keeps the strings in place. Has little dips in it, keeps the strings in place, right? And then as the strings come all the way down, they attach to the bridge, this part right here. And they tighten up in there, and that helps you to pluck the strings. So this whole thing here is called the neck, but the top part of the neck, the front, this is called your fretboard, And it's all divided into all these frets. So this is your 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. Now, something really important to know, remember, the strings down here are higher. They sound high. They're thinner strings. They sound high. As you come higher up here, the note sounds lower. Same thing on the guitar. The further you are this way on the guitar, the notes sound low. And the more you come up this way, they sound high. So if I'm down here, right? So you got low, and it comes up to high up here, okay? And we'll get into that in a moment. We'll get more into what that means in a second. So you got your fretboard, and it's divided by these frets, these different sections divided by these metal little separators here. Those are also called frets, the metal frets, okay? Then now we're moving down to the body, okay? So here we have the sound hole. Obviously, that helps to resonate the sound and give us the sound that we're hearing. Or how to play a chord. Okay, so that's that. Then you got your body. And for this one, I think we're good. If we were using a different guitar, there will be something here called a pick guard. So, you know, if you're strumming a guitar, I like to play this guitar with my fingers. I like to kind of use my thumb. I'm mostly a drummer and a bass player. That's what I usually play. So we use our fingers a lot. So I like to, you know, play this instrument more so with my fingers. But you can also play with a pick as well. And there's something called a pick guard, like on this guitar. And what it does is just kind of protects the body. You don't want to scratch up your guitar too much. It protects your guitar from getting all scratched up when you're picking. Sometimes you may rub up against it. And the pick guard just protects the body. And that's that. So that is the guitar. Okay. So now let's get back into those letters. So music, again, just uses A through G. Now, it is something brand new. We do say it is a language because you communicate with people through music. Musicians, we have conversations. We speak a foreign language when we talk to each other. It's its own language, but it's not overwhelming. I want to make sure this is something that doesn't freak you out. Some people may not want to start learning because it can freak them out. They get nervous, right? But no, I want to break this down, keep it simple. So again, music is the first 7 letters, A through G, but there are 12 notes in music. 7 letters are used, 12 notes are in music. And those extra 5 are what we call accidentals. So I'm sure you guys have heard sharp and flat before. Someone saying, oh, this person is singing and they're too sharp. They're above the note. Or this person is singing, oh, they're kind of flat. They're below the note, okay? So there's sharps and flats in between the letters. So for example, this one is E, right? We said the 6th string is going to be E. E doesn't have a sharp after it. So sharp will be if you're progressing forward or going up. So from E, it doesn't go up to E sharp. We'll say F is next. So this is E, and then this next note is F because we're going in alphabetical order. So E, F, and then F does have a sharp. So we call this next note here on the 2nd fret F sharp. Okay. And then after that, we have G, G sharp. And after G in the alphabet, H comes next, right? But again, music just goes up to G. So it circles back around to A. So if we have G here, then we have G sharp. After that, it goes back to A. So your 5th fret here is A. Then you got A sharp. Then you got B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp. Then we get from in front of the mic. And then here, we got E again. So this note sounds like this. Okay, so that's E and E. So by the time you get up to your 12th fret, right here, it's the same note as what the string is because you went through all 12 of the notes already. I want to make sure that makes sense. Comment if there's any questions so far. I want to make sure I can answer here. But either way, I'll come back to the comment sections if you comment later and answer the questions, okay? But yeah, so it's E, and then by the time you get to the 12th fret, you're at E again, which means it keeps going. It doesn't just stop. After that, it's F again, F sharp, G, etc., till you run out of frets, right? Okay, so that's how that works there. So the 2 that don't have a sharp are E and B. So after B, you immediately go, the next note after that is C. And then after E, the next note after that is F. It just goes in order like that. Super simple. Same thing. This is the A string.
So the next note here is A sharp, because A does have a sharp. B and E are the only two that do not have sharps. So A, you go to A sharp, then you got B, and I'm on the 5th string now. So this is the 6th string. Now I'm down on this string. So the string itself is A sharp, B. No, B sharp goes to C, C sharp, D, etc. Okay, and that's pretty much how each string works. Okay, now you know where all the notes, or you know all of the notes, and it's just a matter of remembering what string each one is, and then working your way up to memorize where the different sections are. But as you continue to play, you're going to get used to it, so you don't have to really focus every day, drill yourself. Where is it? Where is it? You know, you're just going to play and get used to where each note is. So that's totally fine. Now we're going to learn what chords are. Now, just like how English, you know, we learn English and we start with learning the letters. Then we're able to form words. Then we can form sentences and then paragraphs and then create essays and all of this stuff, right? Same thing with music. You start with learning your notes, which we've just done. Great job. After the notes, you start learning scales. Scales are super important to know which chords to shape, which chords go together, how to put songs and compositions together and stuff. It starts with learning your notes and your scales, okay? So if we start with those notes, there are two scales that we typically use in music. Everything is kind of based around this scale, but there's so many different types. But the two main ones that you'll kind of use in the stuff you listen to on the radio is the major scale and the minor scale, okay? So, or the natural minor scale. There's different types of minor scales. So we'll learn the major scale and the natural minor scale, okay? So let's start with G, because I'm going to teach you a G chord today and a C chord, and then we'll wrap it up after that, okay? So if we're using G, remember, the string is E, so this note is F, F sharp, G. This pattern I'm going to teach you is the same all across the board, okay? So the first note you start on, it goes by movement. So a scale is moving up and down the strings. So you start on a note, and then you want to move something called a whole step. Okay, so there's whole steps and half steps, and that's how far you move. So it's like if I'm walking, make sure I don't drop this guitar, right? So if I'm walking, I'm standing here, and I take like a little step, little baby step. We'll call that a half step. Okay, and I'll explain in a second. But we call this a half step. But if you start here and you take a larger step, we call that a whole step. Okay, I don't know if that helped much, but I'm going to just demonstrate it straight on the guitar. So this is how it works. So if I'm on G, when you go a whole step, you skip over a note. Okay, so if I'm at G, I'm going to skip over this one and go here. So from G, G sharp, A, G to A, that's a whole step. I'm saying it again. I'm at G. If I go to the note right next to it, that's a half step. We call that a half step when you go to the note up or down. G, if I go back, I moved a half step. But if I'm at G and I skip one and go up, now I went up a whole step. Okay, so that's how that works. So the major scale pattern, you start at a note and you go whole step, and then a half step, then whole step, half. So you could say whole, half, whole, half, okay? We also call it a tone. If you go a whole step, we call that you move up and down a tone, T-O-N-E. If you go half step, we call that a semitone, okay? So you go up or down a whole step or half step or a tone or a semitone, okay? So you can say, start a note and then go whole, half. So 2 wholes and a half, and then 3 wholes and a half. So that's how it sounds. And you've heard this sound before. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Right? Sounds like the typical thing we always learn in school. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Right? So that's all that, when you sing that, you're singing a major scale. Your voice is going whole, half, whole, half, right? So from here, or 3 wholes. So you're gonna go from here, do, whole, half, whole, half, right? Before that, I added an extra whole, but just remember it's 2 wholes and a half, and then 3 wholes and a half. And that's how it goes. I can start on G sharp and say someone tells you play a major scale. Don't think of what note you're starting on. Just know it's going to follow that same pattern no matter what. So if you start on G sharp and you go whole step, whole, half, whole, half, right? Now, when you play, you don't typically stay on the same string. Obviously, you see it's getting a little tight getting up here. So the same notes are in different spots. So you may go to a different string. So if I'm on G, G, A, B, C, that's a C. But I actually want to go down to this C here. So I can go G. See how this and this sound exactly the same, this, same note. So instead of just keeping it all on the same string, you can go to the next one. Okay, and that's how you do that. So that's your G major scale. Now I'm going to teach you one more scale, and then we're going to learn a couple of chords. And that's when it starts to sound a little bit more musical, right? So that's your G scale. Then we're going to start with C. We're going to go to the C. The C is the 3rd fret on the 5th string, which is A. Remember, this is the 5th string because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there, right? So this is your C. How do I know this is C? Again, this string is A. After A comes A sharp. And after that comes B. And then there's no B sharp, so it goes to C. So I'm trying to keep repeating these things so you guys can remember, because there's a lot of information. Thank God for videos. You can go back and rewatch this and rewind and pause and all of that. But pretty much just repeating it over and over again so you can remember. That's how the notes go. B and E don't have sharps. So after every other one, you're going to say sharp. As you're going backwards, you call it flat. So, and that's really important too. I'm going to pause for a second before I start the C scale. So say I'm at G. We're going to go back to G again. If I'm at G and I'm going up here to this next note, that's G sharp. But if I'm at A and I'm going down, I can also call that G sharp A flat because it's the note that's under A. And when it's under a note, it's called flat. When it's above or comes next, it's sharp. Okay. So this one note has 2 names. It can be called G sharp or A flat because it's between G and A. Okay. If you have any questions, just comment, let me know. But this is G sharp and A flat. It's called enharmonic when it has that one note has 2 names. Okay. We can break that down more in future videos. But yeah, so let's go back to C. So the C scale, I'm starting on C, same pattern. Whole, half, whole, half. So I start on C. I go a whole step. Another whole step, then a half step. Whole, half, or rather whole, sorry, then half. So I'm gonna do that again. Start from here, then go whole, half, whole, half. Okay, it sounds the same. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. G. Do, I start on A. You can start from wherever you want. It's doing the same exact thing over and over. Just follow that pattern. Just memorize the pattern, okay? So now that you know those 2 scales, you have the G scale, G major scale, and the C major scale. Now it's time to learn the G major chord and the C major chord, okay? So the G major chord sounds like this. And the C major chord sounds like this. So you got G, C. Okay. Now, how do I know how to play these chords? It goes back to the scale. Remember, everything is a building block in music, just like any language. Everything builds on top of each other. So knowing the notes that you played in the scale helps you to play the chord, because the first note in the scale, the 3rd note in the scale, and the 5th note in the scale, when they're played together, a chord is when notes are played at the same time and they harmonize with one another. Like we have a choir, there's 3 sections typically, and when they all sing together, their voices blend and it's forming a chord, a vocal chord, right? So same thing with on the instruments. When you play multiple notes at the same time, if they harmonize well with each other, it's going to sound great or create an emotion in you. So that's how you create those chords. So if I'm doing the G, the first note in the G scale is G. It's the root note is G. Then I follow that pattern. Do, re, mi. The third note is B. So I have G, B. The fourth note is C. The fifth note is D. And we can just stop there for now. We don't have to do the whole scale because the 1, 3, and 5 make the chord. So we got 1, 3. But you play them together like this. Okay. All right, cool. All right, what's going on, guys? Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we definitely want to keep sharing these lessons, sharing these videos. And again, we're really excited to have this opportunity to just have released so much content to support those who just want to learn music. That's what we're here for, to continue to teach music. So we're going to teach these 2 chords, and from that, you guys are going to be set today, okay? So back to the G chord, right? So the 1, 3, and 5, that's G, B, and D played together. So remember earlier I did B here. So why are my hands over here? Because certain notes are also in the same, or rather the same note are in different spots on the guitar. So you can form the chord comfortably over here. So look, with this shape right here, that note is a G. Instead of playing this B, this note here is actually a B, because that's the 2nd fret on the A string, A sharp, B. So we got our G, boom, we got our B. I'm not touching this string, but that is a D string, so that's the D that I need. So already that's a chord there. But we want it to be a little bit more vibrant, so we're going to add the other strings in too. So we got G, B, D. Here, this string is G, so that's another G. So then we're going to put this 3rd finger, and let me go back to the finger names. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3rd finger here on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 1, 2, and that note there is D. And then this last finger is going to be on another G. So we have G, B, D, G, D, G. That's your G chord. See, they all blend well. It sounds pleasing to the ear. It sounds really nice, right? All right, so next after that, we have a C chord. So C is going to be shaped like this. So your 3rd finger is on the C. That's just C you need. And then the 3rd note in the C scale, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That note is E. That's an E. So C, E. You need a C and an E in the chord. And the 5 is a G. When you play C, E, and G together, that makes a C major chord. So the shape is going to be like this. And when you do this one, you actually want to try to avoid this top string. Even though it is an E, remember the string is an E string, you don't want it to overwhelm the C notes. You want the C to kind of be the one that's most pronounced, since it's a C chord. Now you can strum all 6 if you want, but the E is kind of taking over. So when you do a C chord, you start from the 5th string and strum down. So the C can ring out the most. Okay, and that's how that works. So let's find where these notes are, because I don't want to just, anyone can just teach you, oh, this is how you put your fingers here. Now strum it. Good, you learned how to play a chord. I want you guys to know why. Why is it going to make sense? That's going to help you to be a musician who can hang and converse and talk to people and all of that, and actually know what you're talking about, right? So if I'm on C, this is a C note. This right here is an E. So I got my C, my E, and right here, this is G. And this 1st finger is going to go on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and that note is another C. And the last one is open, which is E. So we got C, E, we got G, another C, and then an E. And then we pluck it, strum that. There we go. Those are your 2 chords there. So we got G, and you got C. Okay, cool. Now, I'm bad with keeping picks in my hand because, again, I always play with my fingers. But I'm like, I need to show you guys how to play with a pick, because that's really important. And you should be playing with a pick. Different techniques, different sounds, different effects that you want. So make sure I can get a pick really quickly. Perfect. There we go. All right, right here. Here's a guitar pick. Make sure you guys can see it up against the black. There we go. Now, the way to hold this pick, and we're going to strum these chords. So you have your finger, you turn it sideways. You're going to have the pick upside down, so it's like a triangle. Have it pointing down and the finger pointing out, and just put it up against it. You're holding it like that. I'm hoping you guys can see that, maybe right there. And then you just rest your thumb on it, just using these two. And mine's sticking out quite a bit, but you can kind of bring it in some. Just kind of have that little tip sticking out, and so you're going to hold that. Okay, there you go. Now, when you strum with a pick, you don't want to strum like your whole wrist just, super crazy, or rather your whole arm, your whole forearm going crazy. It's in the wrist. You're going to keep it all here, and this is what's kind of swinging. Like if I put this down and literally this was just shaking, like I'm not even doing anything, it's just shaking like that. That's how loose you want it to kind of feel. You don't want any tension on your arm or anything making stuff stiff. You want that to swing. So it's all in the wrist right there, okay? And then with that too, kind of these two fingers are kind of pressing like this. That's when you do a more intricate, kind of going up and down. All right? When you just kind of just alternate picking like this, then these two fingers are kind of moving like that. But if you're just doing full out strums, you want that wrist, you don't want it to be stiff and the whole arm going. You want the wrist to kind of swing. So you're going to find what feels sweet. If anything starts feeling painful, playing an instrument shouldn't be all painful. Like you shouldn't be like, oh, this super hurts. Like my hands are, I got to pause for like weeks. It should be comfortable. It doesn't have to be that insane, to that degree. Okay. But if you're playing this G chord, you want to strum outward. So you're coming down, and I'm over exaggerating, but if you come down, you want to kind of come out like that. Not that much. I'm just doing that to show you what I'm show you an example. But you want to kind of come out a little bit, and then you bring it back in. So I'm going to turn sideways. So it's kind of doing like this. So if I'm doing this G, notice how the hand is swaying. Okay. And then same thing here with the C chord. And a couple of times I hit the E there, if you heard that. There you go. That's clean. You're going to try to avoid this string. Sometimes you may bump into it. So what we do, if you have that thumb reaches up, you can kind of let it touch the string. It'll mute it. Okay. That kind of helps, and you can just kind of full out strum. Okay. So you got G. Then you got C. So there's your two chords. So with that, last thing is just rhythm. So what I want you guys to practice is just doing 4 downstrokes. And that's when you just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then switching to the next chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to keep doing that back and forth until you get used to it, okay? Then when you do get used to it, you're going to switch it over and double it down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So let's just start with doing quarter notes. Quarter notes are, there's going to be 4 notes in the measure, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just like there's 4 quarters equals the whole. 4 quarter notes will be that whole measure there, right? Also, if you're doing like eighth notes, eighths are half of a whole. So there's like a little bit of math in music too. Don't freak out if you don't like math. It's just a little bit, you got to remember. But yeah, eighth notes are going to be subdividing the quarter notes. So if quarters go 1, 2, 3, 4, eighths are going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's how eighth notes go, okay? So first we're going to do quarters on the G. Ready, and again. And stop. Okay, cool. So that's your G chord. If there's some buzzing, like if you're playing and there's, it sounds like that. You don't want to hear that when you do this. You want it to sound nice and clean, just ring out. So that can mean you're not putting enough pressure on the string, or one of your fingers are bumping into another string and it's making that string not sound clean. So it's a lot of adjusting when you're first playing guitar, making sure you're only landing on those notes and not pushing anything else. That's really important. Okay, so that's that. And then quarters on the C. Again. There you go. So it's your C and your G. Okay, cool. And then lastly, after you get that tight, because I know you guys are going to get this week, then you're going to do it up and down. So you got those will be your eights, okay? So those are the only things I want you to learn this week. Now, again, this is just jumping, getting your feet wet in the instrument. We do offer membership. So if you want to go deeper in learning these instruments, we do offer one-on-one lessons, and they are virtual. So that's the neat thing. I know you guys are, a lot of people are quarantined at this time and everything. Everyone's staying safe and healthy, which is fantastic. So we do offer virtual music lessons where, just like this, one-on-one, face-to-face, we'll be talking and breaking down the instruments, okay? So if you went to starvingartistcourses.com/memberships, you'll see all the different options. You could do one lesson for 30 minutes a week, an hour a week, one lesson a month. You could break it out. You could choose which one you want to do, okay? So next week, we will be learning a new instrument. But I want to go ahead and wrap this up by saying the last thing here. Remember, this is our 100th video, so we're super stoked, super excited, and we are still doing the giveaway. So some of you who have just jumped on, we are doing a giveaway, $100 gift card for the individual who wins the contest. So the 5 things you have to do, the 5 free things you have to do to earn $100, you have to go to starvingartistcourses.com and join our mailing list, and we'll email you a PDF guide too, which is a free gift from us to say thank you so much. That's the first thing. Secondly, you're going to go to Instagram, and you're going to go ahead and follow us on Instagram. While you're here on YouTube, you're going to subscribe. That's the third thing. Go on Facebook, Starving Artist Courses, and you're going to like the page. That's the fourth thing. And then the fifth thing, go ahead and find one of our videos here on our YouTube channel and share it. Share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram. Get the word out what we're doing to support all of the musicians or the aspiring musicians out there. So share it on your page and just make sure to tag us and put a little blurb like, yo, Starving Artist Courses is the best, or whatever you want to say. You don't have to use those words, but we appreciate that if you did. So you go tag us on the social media pages and let people know what we're doing here. And then you could potentially win. Next week, we'll be diving into piano at that time. So it's going to be really, really fun. So you can bring your piano to the screen and make sure you're learning. I'm going to teach some basics on that instrument too. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys. Make sure to subscribe, and please make sure to hit the bell for future videos. Bye.